Guys, do you entrepreneur as if you're not exactly a man? Booth babes, do you want to go from booth babe to founder? Let's hammer out a few bullet points that are going to be our morning pages. Guys, we can't text message like we are girls hoping to get girls results, because what they don't teach you at Y Combinator is when you text message like you're a girl and you're not a hot girl with nice boobs and a cute butt, you're going to be screwed, because now you're trying to mimic the other gender in a default trans. What they don't teach you and what they do teach you at YC is the LGBT thing, super confusing. This is what's not confusing. Let's be founders as with as with confidence that a Chinese man has. Oh, is that gender reversal entrepreneurship exercises? It sure is. And we can text message like guys. This is how. Before we do booth babe to founder. One, guys text message in staccato bursts. I don't care what you think. I need you to get the information so that way we get to more money. Three, we don't need perfect one-to-one communication. Four, when we are messaging for a person that can level us up, we might send 25 texts versus their one requited text. Think about that. How psycho Saturday is sending 30 to 50 texts to one dude who might mentor us. Now you understand how I met Rudy Garza, which is the topic of the next video, which is how to host Reverse VC Week, how to host VCs at South by Southwest. So that's for an upcoming video live stream that is definitively going to help with your career. Text messaging like you're a girl when you're a guy is an easy trap to fall into, because we're trying to cajole and manipulate ourselves into the people that we're trying to connect with. So we begin to have similar cadence, we begin to have similar mannerisms, we begin to have similar, because we're hoping to do the mirroring and matching. We're hoping to do the, oh, well, if we're like each other and have a bunch of similarities, then you're automatically going to want to hook up with me. Versus text messaging like you're a Chinese cowboy, where you're like, you're a girl, I'm a guy. You act like a girl, I'll act like a man. And then initially, they'll be trying to like do a poop test and be like, no, you're too manly, or you're too not like a girl, or you're blah blah blah. Because what's the flip side of text messaging like you're a biatch? Now they're gonna call you and say, oh, I'm really happy that you're not the F word. I was like, what do you mean I'm not the F word? Like, no, because you're a man. I was like, okay, but what's the F word? And the F word was not fuck, it was fag. And I was like, what? Do you talk to guys that are the F word? And she's like, yeah, kind of all the time. I'm like, well, what's an example? Well, an example is never double tapping. Who loves the double tap? Women do, when you no longer act like a man. When you're a woman. And you see how I'm getting juxtaposed. This is what I mean in the clearest way that I can spell it out. Is that women in entrepreneurship should do gender reversal entrepreneurship exercises. But men, when we're text messaging other men, We shouldn't be default women. That's what they don't teach you at Y Combinator. That was complicated to push out, by the way, because of this summarizing component, which will encapsulate the entire room while not having you feel like you missed out on content, which is this. When you're pacing and leading, when you're selling to a female, and what are you selling? We're selling dick. You can't sell dick like you're selling vagina. You have to sell dick like you're selling dick. And unfortunately, the F word knows this. But we're not going to go into that because that's not a slippery slope. That's a horrible dirt road to hoe. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on this hilarious and true thing, which is when we're selling ourselves as men in, yeah, this is horribly disgusting content. Why? Because these are unearthed truths that are difficult to fathom. And what is also really difficult right now? The war on the middle class. Because it's a difficult topic to address. Why? Because we are in difficulty because there's a war waged on the middle class. And so for us to drive forward with trying to gain a financial advantage, why and how? By doing things that don't scale. What happens when we do things that don't scale? Our rewards are absolutely unclear. And how do we work in a situation with unclear rewards? We proceed very cautiously. Look at how cautious everybody is. Look at the comments. Like people with medium things that are trying to pick a unclear component with, oh, I don't agree with that little point, versus how could you not agree with the fact that when men text message like they are women, you're putting yourselves at a distinct distribution disadvantage. This is what exactly we can go towards as we're winning within pre-entrepreneurship. This is why. What happens on dating apps? Dating apps is, in essence, outsourcing the idea of what? Connecting with people by delegating it to a computer. Is that what we're doing within social media as well, where we're delegating what we discover to an algorithm? Is that algorithm trying to make us come to Larry Chiang's YouTube station, grow via Larry Chiang's content? Hi, I'm Larry Chiang. And then leave Larry Chiang and pretend like you never met Larry Chiang. Come, grow, go. Or is it a dating app that's trying to trap you and trap us into, hey, you should behave like a female here on this dating app by letting women make the first move. And what happens on Bumble when you make women make the first move? Sometimes they make the first move on only the tall, hot, rich dudes, and then the dick becomes centralized. Oh, that's so disgusting that you say that. Well, guess what? That's why on dating apps, 90% of men get no attention and 3% of men get 80% of the attention. It's no longer the Pareto principle. It's now the Larry Chiang principle. Notice how the comments have dried up. And that's okay that it's crusty, musty, dusty, because why? We can uncrust, unmust, and undust. Because what they don't teach you at Y Combinator is how crusty, dusty, musty turns into a rejuvenated flower. How? Why? Into, yes, more subscribers at YouTube, but we can uncrust, unmust, and de-dust. How? By turning around that Y Combinator cadaver and becoming super infamous. You're not going to be super rich because you're just helping the YC founders that went to Columbia Business School, which I don't understand why you'd ever go to my safety school, or UT Business School or Law School, which is also my safety school. Because remember, Stanford was my safety school. And being able to unmust, undust, and decrust other people's dead corpse is how we gain notoriety and confidence in turning around a Y Combinator cadaver. What's a cadaver? It's a YC startup that went bankrupt. And after it went bankrupt or shelved or turned into a ghoul or a zombie, we're going to practice on that cadaver by demusting, decrusting, and unmusting. I'm pretty proud of my soundbite there. Can you tell? Pretty proud of my soundbite. Thank you. In a upcoming vid, which immediately is following this live stream, is something that is going to drop jaws. Let me preview it. It is Booth Babe into Founder. Because what is the topic of this video? The topic of this video what they don't teach you at Y Combinator. Dusty, musty, crusty. Let's fix that cadaver. Because the topic of this video is us winning at no longer being a girl text messaging as we're guys. And so the transgender athlete winning those gold medals in girls sports, well, that actually had an effect on how men communicate to women on dating apps, where the dating app became skewed. Why? It's delegating being VP of sales to an app, to a dating app. That dating app's not trying to have you happily in a relationship. That dating app wants you locked into that dating app to continue paying that dating app. Oh, does this sound like the algorithm? Oh yeah, it definitely does. Let's bullet point out the components for Booth Babe to Founder. Because if you're a tall, really hot guy who is playing vagina on easy mode and text messaging like you're a girl, okay, how hard does this hit? Now realize this is why you don't make any money, and I'm going to solve a lot of problems because you're being a booth babe and you're poor because you're getting by on your looks. Am I, as a tall, hot guy, getting by on my looks? Yeah, but I also add a lot of value. This is the value I'm about to add in a ginormous way, which is this. We're going to go from booth babe. We're going to go from booth babe to founder. Because remember, if you're a tall, hot guy and you're not financially doing well, you're text messaging like you're a woman because you're getting hit with too much vagina in your face. Let's solve that problem using these 7 bullet points of booth babe to Founder. Does this also apply to hot women? Oh, yeah. This is why I'm batting 1,000 when it comes to blonde billionaires in the United States of America or anywhere in the world. If you're blonde and a billionaire, I'm batting 1,000. Let's go. Morning pages. Morning pages are where we as hot people focus our virility into something incredibly creative. Morning pages is 5 minutes to 50 minutes of writing. What does a rich person do for their morning routine? It turns out their entire day is their morning routine. They can write, they can do creative shiitake, they can savers, silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, scribing. Savers, Hal Elrod. As poor people, you do savers for 5 minutes. Rich people can do savers, silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, scribing, for 5 days per one day. I did not misspeak. And so, morning pages is Julia Cameron, the artist's way for how to transition from booth babe into founder. Number two, booth babe to founder, tall hot guy to founder, 14 landing pages per week. What happens when you're taking down 15 hot women per month? You are so inundated with putty that you can't tell if you came or you went. You smell like one big vajayjay. Is this stand-up comedy that's hilarious and gross and hilarious? Oh yeah, it is. While you're taking down that much strange, we also need to be putting down 14 landing pages. What's a landing page? A landing page is a article or post of someone else that went viral. We turn it into a static landing page by embedding a YouTube, by embedding an Instagram post, by paste copying with attribution something that went viral on X. And so you take that tweet and then you expand it into a landing page. When we're transitioning from hot dude to founder or booth babe to founder, we need to be creating per week 14 landing pages. 14 landing pages. And if we're doing zero, well, enjoy being a non entrepreneur hoping to go viral when the only virality you've got is kind of an STD, right? Number three, remix. Ladies, it's a collab. Remix a YouTube video. Hit green screen or split screen. Remix. Remix, ladies, it's a collaboration. When we don't collaborate, we are forgetting what YC does teach us, which is a business incubator in Mountain View at 310 Pioneer, which is we can DJ up an entity and become super rich. We can DJ like a music, but we're DJing APIs. Number four, not going to grow an audience. You don't have to grow an audience in order to make money. You can do it on no audience. Topic tree. This is how to transition from booth babe to founder, which is we want to have a topic tree. We want to join a niche that already is going. We want to do valuable content that is already in our Google history. We want to take the accounts that we already follow and then summarize 2 or 3 nuggets. How many nuggets are in this? 5,000 nuggets in this video, but pick the account that you want to do most, select 3 to 5 nuggets. Number 4, what book do you own and have reread that you can now regurgitate to other people to say, look, I read this nonfiction business book and this is a regurgitation. And why is this video at 3 likes? This should be at, this is not an indication of you or me. This is an indication for you. Why? Because you're having a hard time cheerleading yourself by not liking something, so that way you're intrinsically wired in not liking this video, where you are now not liking yourself, because this is just content from the future where you're like, oh my god, this is some amazing shit. Why am I not liking it? The reason you're not liking it is because you don't want to like yourself. Look at how the like total hasn't changed. It's because, as cheerleaders of our own lives, the first person that we need to, the first step to being more likable is to like things more. And when we're not liking things, that's the topic tree of, would you buy a product from an educational or behavior improvement standpoint? You wouldn't. And that's the topic tree withering. That's the YouTube abundance. Look at how many free videos are on YouTube. That's the abundance crushing you. This causes men to text message like they are women. Why? Because it's overly burdensome, and it's just easy to like close the flower of our brain. Yeah. Yeah. Your brain's a flower because look at how you're having a hard time saying yes to inherently clear truths. Look at the comments. Look at the comments. Wow, and disgusting content, and look at the number of likes on this video. Intelligent, what they don't teach at Y Combinator is intelligent imitation. Everybody is their own special flower, which is why guys text message like they're girls, because they're trying to imitate the flower that they're trying to inseminate. And a hummingbird does not look like a flower. A hummingbird sticks its beak into the flower to inseminate the flower with good things. A hummingbird does not look like a flower. A flower trying to connect with other flowers, it kind of doesn't work. And so, is this stand up comedy? Yeah. But is this also hilariously true? Yes. Because intelligent imitation gets you from home plate to first base. Default mentors. How many people have a mentor that they don't even know is in their head? And am I talking about 11 chefs in the kitchen of your mind? Definitely. Why? Because having 11 chefs causes your brain to be paralyzed. I'm recommending that you have one chef, one really, 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 really good looking cowboy chef in your brain. So that way you're competing with one chef in your brain while everyone else has got 11 chefs, or realistically, 20 chefs. That's not smart. Business. It's not overcomplicated. It's actually pretty straightforward. On the next live stream, which is actually back to back to this live stream, we're going to be talking about juicy topics that I previewed here. Join me in the next live stream, which is coming up in literally 30 seconds. I'm switching.